Hi, so today we're going to be discussing the prompts that were on the assignment of Module 7. So we're going to begin by the first question. It is, discuss how it makes you feel when you are the only one or one of the few people of your race, gender, religion, or with a disability in a group such as a classroom. So I'm going to begin with talking about race or the minority. I think it happens to everyone whether we want to accept it or not. When I'm the only one in the room or even just a minority in a room, I do tend to feel out of place. I grew up with the minority group and within the minority circle, so being out of that comfort zone, you can say, makes me feel a bit weird, and it gives me the feeling of not belonging. Growing up, I wasn't exposed to many other races other than Latinos or African Americans. I grew up in a primarily Latino and African American neighborhood, which one of the assignments that we did says primarily white, so I was surprised. However, it was not until my first real job and that I started college that I was amongst other racial groups, so I never had really much exposure. I can say that it was a culture shock, and I was in an environment that was primarily dominated by whites, and there were very few minorities, which that's what I was used to. It's kind of an uncomfortable feeling, and it might just be a thing in your head that makes you feel self-conscious. I did start to get more comfortable as time went on with the people in my classroom as class progressed and we started having to interact with each other. It just made me self-conscious of the stereotypes that exist and the fact that I was in a university. Now I do tend to feel more confident and comfortable, but the feeling of being out of place is still there. Okay, the second question is, what legal or ethical dilemma happened within the last 2 years with that population you identify the most that has made you ashamed or made you advocate or feel compassion for another population of people or individual who was different from you? I believe an ethical dilemma has always existed with the group that I identify with the most, which is immigration issues. I'm proud to say that I'm a first generation African American, and I love to embrace my culture and my Mexican side. There's always talk about illegal immigration and laws in the news, and that things can happen to help them. Sometimes they're left with little or no hope in the end. I've heard many stories of how they try and cross the border for a better life, and many do not make it. Recently, there were images going viral and circulating of the world around the world of Border Patrol agents using whips to round up hidden immigrants on the border. This was really heartbreaking. It's definitely an inhumane approach. Even though crossing the border that way might not be the best way, it does not mean that it's okay to be treated in that manner. Then we're going to go on to stereotypes that you think people have about you because of your race, gender, religion, or disability. I think because of I am a young Latina woman, the stereotype around me is that I would have kids at a very young age, not be able to complete even high school, much less college, and just be overall unsuccessful. Maybe even end up working a minimum wage job. I can thankfully say that I hold a pretty decent position at Barrow Neurological Institute. But my next goal is to complete my bachelor's in nursing, and then after that, start working towards obtaining higher education. I didn't go the route to become a doctor, a medical doctor, because there was always more challenges, especially because I am Latino, first generation. My parents didn't really save for money for college, they just want you to get it done. So I do plan to get my doctorate in nursing, more than anything for myself, It's just something that makes you feel good. It makes you feel that you did it and we were able to beat those stereotypes that surround us. And then lastly, what impact statement would you like to make on behalf of the group that you identify with the most regarding current affairs or events? So we're not sure what impact statement means. We tried looking it up, but we're just gonna go with the statement being taking it literal. So what is an impact statement? It's a statement that made an impact. I would say that you should be more confident and believe in ourselves, and that we can make it far. We can be successful and beat the stereotypes that surround us.